Welcome back to Netrush Report, your home for the untold stories, the struggles, and the triumphs that define modern tennis. If you love deep dives into the athletes behind the headlines, make sure to hit subscribe, tap the bell, and join us for every swing, serve, and story that matters. Novak Djokovic has lived his career under a constant shadow of expectations. For nearly 2 decades, fans, experts, and rivals alike have demanded the extraordinary from him. Grand Slams, Masters 1000 titles, year-end championships. Djokovic has collected them all. But now, as the calendar turns to the 2025 US Open, the conversation has shifted. It's no longer just about whether he can add to his tally. It's about whether his body, at 38 years old, can keep up with the relentless next generation. And that's where Andy Roddick's words strike so hard. Roddick called Djokovic literally the third favorite heading into the US Open, praising his form but acknowledging that time may be tilting the balance in favor of younger rivals. But before we dissect Roddick's comments, let's look at the season Djokovic has had so far. A roller coaster that has been as inspiring as it has been frustrating. Djokovic began his 2025 campaign at the Brisbane International. It wasn't the dominant start many had hoped for. He made it to the quarterfinals, but fell to Riley Opelka, whose serve proved too hot to handle. Next came the Australian Open, Djokovic's fortress, a place where he has historically been almost untouchable. This time, he showed flashes of his old dominance, beating the likes of Carlos Alcaraz and Jiri Lehecka before injury struck. Facing Alexander Zverev in the semifinals, Djokovic had to withdraw with a muscle tear after dropping a tight first set in a tiebreak. It was a painful reminder that the body does not heal at 38 the way it did at 28. From there, things became even rockier. At the Qatar Open, Djokovic lost in the very first round to Matteo Berrettini. Then at Indian Wells, he was stunned by Botic van de Zandschulp, another early exit that raised serious alarm bells. The Miami Open, however, brought a flicker of hope. Djokovic fought his way to the final, only to lose in 2 tiebreaks to Jacob Mensik, a 19-year-old rising star who represents exactly the kind of new blood ready to push the legends aside. Clay season didn't offer much respite. First-round exits at both the Monte Carlo Masters and the Madrid Open left fans asking if Novak's clay court days were behind him. But then came the Geneva Open and a breath of fresh air. Djokovic lifted his first trophy of 2025 by beating Hubert Hurkacz in the final, reminding the tennis world that he could still summon greatness. At the French Open, Djokovic put together another deep run, making the semifinals before losing to Jannik, the very man who had beaten him at Wimbledon later that summer. Which brings us to Wimbledon 2025. Once Djokovic's most reliable slam in his 30s, this year it ended again in the semifinals. Jannik Sinner, younger, fresher, and brimming with confidence, dismissed Djokovic in straight sets. It was one of those rare matches where Djokovic looked not just outplayed but outpaced. After Wimbledon, Djokovic briefly appeared in the mixed doubles of the US Open tune-up events alongside Olga Danilovic. That run ended in the first round, and now all eyes are on his singles campaign, where he opens against Lerner Tien, that on his podcast Served with Andy Roddick, the former US Open champion didn't hold back. Roddick described Djokovic as unbelievable for still competing at such a high level at 38, but he made it clear Djokovic is not the man to beat in New York in Roddick's eyes. The hierarchy looks like this. Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz are ahead of Djokovic in the pecking order. Their youth, endurance, and recent success against him place them above the Serb in the current moment. Djokovic, Roddick says, is literally the third favorite. Think about that. For years, Djokovic wasn't just the favorite. He was the overwhelming favorite. Bookmakers, fans, and fellow players often assumed he'd be standing on Championship Sunday. Now, for the first time in over a decade, Djokovic walks into a slam as the outsider to 2 younger players. And yet, if history has taught us anything, it's that Novak Djokovic thrives in exactly these conditions. When the world counts him out at T38, Djokovic is playing with house money. He has nothing left to prove. 24 Grand Slam titles, over 100 ATP titles, more weeks at number 1 than anyone else in history. But tennis is not just about legacy. It's about the hunger to keep going. What makes Djokovic unique is that he still has that hunger. He isn't just showing up for farewell tours or exhibitions. He's chasing wins. He's chasing titles. And he's doing it in an era where players half his age are bringing power, stamina, and fearlessness that would intimidate anyone else. Roddick's verdict isn't a dismissal. It's a reality check. Djokovic is still elite, but elite in a field where the younger elite are finally starting to close the gap. Djokovic versus Sinner. Sinner is quickly becoming Djokovic's kryptonite. His win at Wimbledon was decisive, and his growing confidence means Djokovic will likely need to face him again if he wants to go deep in New York. Djokovic versus Alcaraz. Their matches are not just tennis matches, they're battles of generations. Alcaraz has the speed, the firepower, and the energy. Djokovic has the guile, the experience, and the iron will. Djokovic versus himself. More than anything, Djokovic's biggest rival in 2025 is his own body. Can it hold up for 7 best-of-5 matches in 2 weeks? That's the defining question of this U.S. Open campaign. For Novak Djokovic, the 2025 U.S. Open isn't just another tournament. It's a crossroads, a chance to silence the doubters, to remind everyone, including Andy Roddick, that he's not done yet. Or it could be the first real sign that the baton has been passed, that tennis is truly entering the post-Djokovic era. Make no mistake, Djokovic still has the tools to win. His return game remains one of the best in history. His mental toughness is unmatched. His ability to rise on the biggest stages hasn't disappeared. But the margin for error is thinner than ever. Every match will be a war.so. Is Andy Roddick right? Is Novak Djokovic really just the third favorite at the U.S. Open? Maybe. But if history has shown us anything, it's that underestimating Novak Djokovic is a dangerous game. For nearly 2 decades, he has thrived on defying the odds, silencing critics, and proving that greatness doesn't fade easily. As Djokovic steps onto the courts of Flushing Meadows once again, one thing is certain. Win or lose, his fight, his fire, and his legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. This is Netrush Report. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the world of tennis that you won't find anywhere else. Until next time, keep your eyes on the court and your heart in the game.